Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another video. I hope you're all doing well. Just finished a home standby here in what's actually been quite a sunny London, which has been a lovely day to relax. And thankfully not being called, and I was actually meant to be on home standby again tomorrow. However, earlier in the week, my duty actually changed to a flight to Bilbao. So I can't quite believe I'm saying this, but apparently Man United or Tottenham are going to be in the Champions League next season.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
Not quite sure how that's happened, but tomorrow is the Europa League Final being played in Bilbao. And naturally, a load of football fans, Tottenham and Man United fans especially, will be travelling to the game in Bilbao from London. So I've actually been put onto a charter flight to take the football fans to Bilbao. However, it's quite a different duty for a number of reasons. I've never actually been to Bilbao, and whilst it's my first time going there, it's actually quite a tricky little airport. It's positioned in northern Spain, right in the Pyrenees Mountains, so there's quite a lot of terrain around with some really steep approaches on the ILS. So as pilots, it does make it a little bit more tricky, just have to plan ahead and how we're going to manage our energy as we commence the approach. But it should be a really good, fun, unique day out, so I'm really looking forward to it. So that's all from me for now. As I said, I've now finished my airport standby, so I'm going to relax for the rest of the evening. Also going to look at the airfield briefing so I know what to expect for when I go to Bilbao, as I do for any new airport I fly to. And as well as that, I'll have a good look at the plates as well, just in case I am pilot flying for the approach and how I can manage my energy for the descent. That's all from me for now. I'm going to go prepare and relax for the rest of my evening. I'll chat to you again tomorrow morning once it's time to head to Bilbao. And of course, if you do enjoy this video, please hit that subscribe button. It really helps out the channel, and hit the notification bell so you never miss when I upload a new video. But for now, I'm just going to go and relax, and I'll see you tomorrow. So good morning, guys. Currently about 10 to 5 in the morning. Got to check in today at 6:15 in the morning. Normally wake up about an hour and 45 minutes before that. Just gives me enough time to have a quick shower, a cup of tea, read over the briefing in detail, check the weather for today, no tabs, etc. Have a look over the aircraft as well, make sure there's no defects or anything like that, and just generally prepare for the flight in general. So about 45 minutes for that, maybe a little bit more, 50 minutes, and then just under an hour to get to work. And obviously that factors in time to get to the car park, but then we also have to get to security, through security into the gate. But at the moment, just enjoying a cup of tea to start the day, give me some energy whilst I read over the brief. Weather at the moment in Bilbao is looking really nice, so fingers crossed we shouldn't get any bad winds over the terrain. It is looking to change into the westerly direction later on in the day. Hopefully that doesn't happen until after we've come and gone, but we're going to have to wait and see. We should have a better picture a little bit closer to departure time. That's pretty much it from me now. I'm going to finish this tea, have another read of the brief, make sure I haven't missed anything. Do get changed, and then it's time to head to the airport. So guys, bag all packed, uniform on. Time to head to Gatwick and meet the rest of the crew. So guys, just arrived at the airport, parked the car. It's now about a 5-minute walk to security, maybe not even that. And then on these early flights, we tend to head straight to the gate instead of the crew room to meet the crew. So that's the plan. It was just a short walk to the terminal where I met the rest of the crew and then headed towards the aircraft. And as I was pilot monitoring for the first flight, I started my day with a thorough walk around of the aircraft. With the walk around completed, passengers loaded, and with our pushback clearance obtained, we started our pushback with the tug driver. Then once we were cleared to start the engine, started engine 2 first and then engine 1. With both engines started, we started our taxi towards the famous Gatwick Bridge. However, before we reached there, we turned left and headed towards the holding point for runway 26 left. Once we arrived at the holding point, we waited for a couple minutes, but then we were cleared to line up and wait. So we switched the aircraft lights on and entered onto the runway. Shortly after which we were cleared for takeoff. So then we apply our takeoff thrust, picking up speed, and once we reach our rotate speed, the captain eased back on the side stick and gently rotated the aircraft into the air. Leaving Gatwick in our wake, we followed the standard instrument departure and made our way towards the south coast of the UK. Climbing nicely, we passed through a low layer of cloud over London and enjoyed the nice views in the cruise. And once we were in the cruise, we had a bit more time to relax. So once we had completed any tasks such as monitoring systems or looking at weather for en route alternates, I was able to get a couple of videos of our view in the cruise, including my breakfast, which was a great start to the flight. As of course it is only a short flight, shortly after we were in the vicinity of Bilbao, and after a thorough briefing for the new and challenging airport, we began our descent. Approaching the airport, we used our flaps to decrease our speed and increase our drag, and once established on the steep ILS, we lowered the gear, which came a little earlier than we normally would, and that's just due to the steep approach. It added a bit more drag and allowed us to keep our speed under control. Now fully configured with the last stage of flaps, we descended over the city, and with the runway in sight, we were cleared to land. At about 30 feet above the runway, a controlled flare led to a smooth touchdown from the captain. He applied thrust reversers whilst the spoilers, which were previously armed, also deployed and the auto brake activated, allowing us to vacate at our desired rapid exit taxiway. We then began taxiing down to our stand, back parallel to the runway we had just landed on. We made it to our remote stand and came to a stop with the aid of a marshaller in Bilbao. With a bit of time in the turnaround, we watched a couple of private jets pass by, carrying supposedly some VIPs for the football, as well as enjoying some of the sun as we refueled for the journey home. The turnaround was actually pretty quick, and with no slot to get going either, we were ready pretty quickly this time. Once ready to go, we pushed back once again, starting engines 2 and 1 in sequence before taxiing down for runway 30 to depart out of Bilbao. With no traffic on the approach, we were cleared to take off as soon as we were in the vicinity of the holding point, and as pilot flying on this sector, I applied thrust, allowing the aircraft to pick up speed before rotating into the sky once again. Flying out away from the terrain, we made a right turn towards north to head back to London. With a couple turns and shortcuts from air traffic control, we were swiftly on our way home. It was quite cool to sit in the aircraft for this climb out, especially being so light with so much power. It's rare that we get to do it, and the thrust and the power during the climb was actually really cool to see. Sitting above the clouds the whole way home, the view was nothing too special today, but we soon descended into a clearer London. This time making our way along a very familiar approach we knew very well into Gatwick. We were soon established on the ILS, a little over an hour after departing Bilbao. We were able to configure at a bit more of a standard time this approach due to the 3-degree glide slope. We did start reducing our speed slightly earlier than normal due to the light aircraft. The lighter weight definitely made a big difference when you need to slow down and reach that lower approach speed. So just for that reason, we reduced our speed a little bit earlier than normal to make sure we were stable by 1,000 feet. Now, I knew this was going to be a challenging flare for myself. With the very light A321, it handled during the approach and flare a lot closer to a standard A320, which is how I thought of it for the landing. Plus, a small tailwind on landing definitely made it challenging, and if I flared too high, I could have easily gone outside of the touchdown zone. Luckily, my technique was perfect, allowing for a great landing into Gatwick for our cabin crew in the back. Once again, applying the thrust reversers and maintaining the centre line. We then vacated the runway and taxied down the northern runway in Gatwick before pulling and parking back onto stand. It was then just a short walk from the aircraft back through the terminal and to the car park where you join me again now. So guys, just got back to the car after what has been an incredible and really enjoyable day out. So I'm going to drive home now and then I will update you on the day once I'm home. So guys, back home now after what has been a thoroughly enjoyable day out. I really enjoyed it. Firstly, had an absolutely fantastic crew and captain, which always makes for a great day. Everyone was really nice, and we had actually 8 cabin crew on board for today's flight, which was always nice because we get to chat to different people. People got to come into the cockpit for takeoff and landing, which also makes it really good fun for them. But the approach into Bilbao was absolutely stunning. We had gorgeous weather for it, cav-okay weather, so no clouds reported at all, with a really good visibility as well. So when we were on the downwind leg, we had a brilliant view of the stadium, which was awesome. And then landing on runway 30, so we had that 3.5-degree glide slope compared to the normal 3-degree, which basically means instead of descending at 700 feet per minute, which you would on a normal approach, it's slightly higher. So you're descending at about nearly 900 feet per minute. As well as that, the Bilbao runway is really challenging, so luckily I didn't have to land it there, but the captain did a great job. Also, the passengers on the flight were really good, mixture of Tottenham and Man United fans, however mainly Tottenham fans, obviously flying from Gatwick. Obviously when you're travelling with a load of football fans, there is the worry that some of the passengers don't behave, however everyone was really nice today. You can imagine they woke up very early in the morning with a long day ahead of them, so most of them just got some rest. But then a quick turnaround, everything went smoothly, and it was a pretty quick flight back as well. The approach into Gatwick is also a little challenging, being a really light A321 with a bit of a tailwind the whole way down the approach, and by the time we were landing we actually had about a 5-knot tailwind. So in my mind I basically took the empty A321 as a normal 320 landing, so rather than flying at 30 feet as we normally would an A321, the problem with that, with a slight tailwind and a really light aircraft, we could float outside of the touchdown zone, which would lead to a go around. So essentially I just kept the aircraft coming down to closer to about 20 feet before commencing the flare, and it worked out really nicely for a great landing. And being so light, even with the auto brake on the low setting, we managed to vacate at the very first turning off of the runway. But overall, an absolutely amazing day out. I'm home already, it's not even 1 o'clock, so I really can't complain. My plan is to have some lunch now, relax, and then head into London, going to meet up with a few friends and watch the final. But guys, I really hope you all did enjoy the video, and if you did, please hit that like button. It really does help out the videos. And if you did enjoy this video, YouTube recommends you check out this video here. But for now, I will see you in the next video.